14 races completed in the Carvana Wildcard Series. Today will be race 15. We will crown a regular season champion and determine which 12 drivers will be racing for the championship. As far as the regular season champion goes, will it be Mitchell Collins, Joshua Sicali, Crystal Saleo, or Anthony Lopez, or could it be any of the other drivers still in contention? We are just moments away from finding out as Countdown to Green will begin right now. This is Countdown to Green. Welcome everyone to the Carvana Wildcard Series. This is the regular season finale, race number 15 here today from Virginia International Raceway, or otherwise known as VIR. Today, we will determine who will make the playoffs and who will be a regular season champion here at VIR. Starting on the pole will be Brian James in that number 0. To his outside will be Daryl Manning in that number 11. Really quickly, let's take a look at your knockout qualifying results. There they are on your screen. And before we get going, we have a few scenarios to get to. As you saw your point standings last race, Mitchell Collins enters 36-point lead over Joshua Sicali, a 41-point lead over Crystal Saleo. Both don't have wins this season, and Anthony Lopez has a 54-point deficit. Realistically, the 4 or 5 of them, including Rodney Crouch, they are still alive in this battle. Obviously, Miguel Zapata, Dave James, Frodemar Ott, and Rodney Crouch, they all need some miracles to happen to be able to catch them. Also, Dylan Young is in it as well. So really, 9 guys are alive, but realistically, I'd have to say 3, because after the top 3 or 4, there's a lot more scenarios that go into it as far as who makes the playoffs and who misses them. So let's start out with Mitchell Collins. If Joshua Sicali wins, he needs to finish 13th or better. And that's if Sicali leads the most laps. That's if Collins leads the most laps. I don't think that's going to happen with Collins starting in the back. 16th or better if Saleo wins, leads most laps. Joshua Sicali, if he leads a lap, he can... Collins can finish 19th or worse. Obviously, if Sicali beats Crystal Saleo, no matter what happens in that battle, Crystal Saleo cannot win the regular season championship. Anthony Lopez, his scenario, like I said, Crystal Saleo's scenario is she leads the most laps, and it would be 16th or better by Collins, or 17th or worse for Collins. Anthony Lopez, he needs to win and lead the most laps. If he does that, Mitchell Collins can finish no worse than 29th. Or 25th if Lopez does not lead the most laps. For Joshua Sicali, he'd have to finish 6th or worse, or 5th or better. And then Crystal Saleo would basically have to finish runner-up or 3rd if Lopez doesn't lead the most laps. Sicali, again, would have to finish top 5 to win the regular season championship. And 7th, he would be able to finish 6th or better if Lopez does not lead the most laps. So you see, it's a little bit more complicated as you go down the list. The question is now, who will be your regular season champion? Who will punch their ticket into the playoffs? How many of our winners will be in the playoffs? And will the double points be as big of an impact as we expect it to be? A lot of questions to ask. A lot will be answered in the next 20 minutes or in the next 10 laps or so. In the meantime, though, we'll be back with your starting lap in just a moment, but this is the Carvana Wildcard Series. This is the regular season finale. Here on GCN, let's roll the intro. Through turn 4. Does the 24 have enough? It's going to be a drag race to the line. We're going down the front stretch. The 96 wins the race at Coda. Welcome back. You're starting. Before we get started, let's take a look at your starting lineup here. So you see on the side of your screen there. Now keep in mind, obviously, this is the final race. This is a double points race. So a lot is at stake here at VIR. Probably not the best place to do a double points race, but hey, we're gonna do it anyway. Obviously, Mitchell Collins looking to clinch here on the final road course race of the season. He's going to have some work to do, I believe, because he's starting toward the back. For someone like Brian James trying to punch his ticket into the playoffs, Dylan Young may be trying to pad his spot in the playoffs. Daryl Manning, same thing. He might be just trying to punch his ticket in. And then obviously Johnny Gardner, he's out of it. He could play spoiler along with some of these others back here. This track, by the way, I believe it was mentioned in Countdown to Green. This is a track that IMSA runs as the pace car peels off, actually. It'll be Brian James and Daryl Manning. They're going to lead us to the green flag, and we get underway at VIR. It's going to be a 10-lap shootout as they go to turn 1, the first carousel. See, Dylan Young had to check up a little bit. He might lose a few spots for that. This is sort of a narrow course, so these guys are going to have to be very careful as they navigate it. See, Dylan Young's going to try to retain 4th. Brian James, in the meantime, has gotten away as he looks to clinch his playoff spot today. He's off to a fast start through the S's and down the long, up the hill to another few S's. See, Rodney Crouch got 4th. Keep in mind, Rodney Crouch is your Richmond winner. So he's already punched his ticket in. He's trying to do his best to be sure that he is in. We'll have a special post-race show after this where we will reveal the point standings to you and the playoff drivers. So please stay tuned at the end. As we come back to turn. Keep in mind it's a double points race, so Brian James just got 2 bonus points for leading that lap. Like I said, a lot at stake here. As we're going to take a look back to Mitchell Collins in that number 12. Keep in mind, him and Crystal Sleo are battling for that regular season championship, and right now, it looks like Crystal Sleo might have an advantage as Mitchell Collins is running in last. Not where he needs to be. Sleo is 21st. Keep in mind, this is for insurance in the playoffs here. So we'll see what happens. There's about almost a 20 position thing going on down there, 20 position gap, and that's not good. Now keep in mind the round of 12 after this, we kick it off at Ohio, Mid-Ohio. The sports car course will open up the playoffs. So 2 big road courses coming up early on. And oh, didn't realize they didn't have that up there. Yeah, so the playoffs will consist of Mid-Ohio, Gateway, and Barber for round number 1. 2 of those tracks, first-time tracks on the schedule, being Gateway and Barber, the latter 2. Then we head off to Toronto for the streets of Toronto, and that'll round out the round of 12. Then we go to the round of 8. It is a 2-race ordeal. Toronto and Talladega make up that round of 8. And then we have our championship 4. And that'll be at COTA, which is where our championship was held last season, and Bristol will be the season finale this year. That'll be a double points race. That's your championship 4. That is your playoffs. Brian James' odds of making it are looking okay so far. He's in the lead, with Daryl Manning in second. Johnny Gardner hanging in third. Rodney Crouch in fourth. Dylan Young in fifth. Back there as well is Francis Hawes, Henry Williams, Anthony Lopez, Andy Thomas, and Mike Irwin. And you see Tim Horton back there. And I should mention this, Tim Horton, he's going to need a miracle if he wants to get in. He is going to need a literal miracle. And I just don't know if that's going to happen. So it's going to be the passing of the torch this season, as Tim Horton will not be able to defend his championship in all likelihood. Which that would be a tough break for that group because they've worked so hard this season. They bring in the defending champ hoping to get results, and it just didn't happen. Sometimes teams and pairings just don't work out. They'll have to go back to the drawing board on that one, as they're going to pit. And apparently pit speed is 70. I would never do this on a normal occasion. Usually we have it at 30. And Johnny Gardner goes to the race lead. It'll be interesting because they're pitting on lap number 3. They should have to pit one more time, unless Johnny Gardner and some of these guys stretch it out another lap or two to try to make it to the finish. Keep in mind, Johnny Gardner's out of the playoffs too, so a win by him would not benefit him in any way other than just to get momentum, to get toward that top 30. Because obviously he's locked out of the playoffs. That's tough in his rookie campaign. Rodney Crouch is back there. Keep in mind, he might still be alive for this regular season championship. So don't rule him out just yet. See him kick up a little bit of dirt. Like I said, Mid-Ohio is the next race, and then it's Gateway. That's going to be an interesting race. We've never run Gateway. It's very good on the open wheel side of things with the NTT IndyCar Series and, of course, the Gander Outdoors Truck Series runs there as well. Here we go. They're going to pit. William Brock is in. So is Crystal Salio, Joshua Scully, Quentin Moore. You can tell they're all making the hard turn to the pit lane. Oh boy, Daryl Manning is there. As we come down the front stretch, Brian James will reclaim the race lead. No, wait. It is Rodney Crouch. He plays some strategy, and he will get the race lead. Wow. How the tables turn on just a cycle of pit stops. As we enter one of the narrow parts of the course, Brian James is under pressure. That is Daryl Manning back there. And here's the thing, after that cycle stops, it might be the only one of the race. Some of these guys are going to be acting with some urgency now, because they know their playoff hopes could be slipping away. Like Brian James, he's going to fight with some urgency here with that number 9. And the question is, how bad do you want it? Do you want it bad enough to literally bump someone out of the way? And it won't be the case, because Brian James is just going to pass for the race lead. Rodney Crouch is going to let him go. Rodney Crouch was trying to capitalize on some misfortune for the 12 team, Mitchell Collins. And now Daryl Manning will try to follow. That 0 car is just really strong today. Keep in mind the playoff point means nothing if you can't finish the job. Oh, Brian James back on the pit lane. And that'll give Daryl Manning the race lead. All right. Sorry. Anyway, so Daryl Manning is your race leader. Johnny Gardner up to second again. Rodney Crouch fell back to third, so he must have done 2 tires, and it's just not paying off for him. Maybe he's going to hope for a pit cycle here in order to catch up here. He's going to hope to come back and get 4. That's something I would have tried at the end of the race, not necessarily now, or on that first stop there. Anyway, you see the battle for the lead. Keep in mind, Johnny Gardner has nothing to fight for, but he could take away valuable playoff points from these playoff drivers. As he puts the pressure on the 11. And he'll pit. That'll leave the 11 out. Rodney Crouch pitted 2. Johnny Gardner to the lead. Keep in mind, like I said, Johnny Gardner winning would not help him make the playoffs. Back behind him Anthony Lopez, a win could very well get that 92 in. Same for the 88. 88 already won a race this season. Annie Thomas. This could solidify her spot. Zach Fitzwater, he's in 4th. That could help him get in. Or what? Jacob Dillons, William Brock, they have nothing to fight for. Audra Baranowskis is in. She won at Watkins Glen, but she could pad herself in. Trevor Collins can't make it. Crystal Saleo is up near the top 10 now. Keep in mind, Crystal Saleo could win the regular season championship today. That is a very real possibility. Anyway, they go up the hill. And Johnny Gardner will not pit. The caution is out. And this shakes everything up. Oh, Frodo Maratz blew up. He's got damage. Something happened to the 32. And this could set us up for a one-lap shootout around VIR for the playoffs. I hope so. We shall see. Let's go see what happened. Well, I think we know of 2 drivers that won't make the playoffs. They're Matthew Logan and Henry Williams there. They collide and just go up into traffic. And you don't see this very often. A car flip over at a road course, and Matthew Logan just gets shot out there into the grass. He can't even brake and goes straight into the guardrail. A wild ride for him. Rodemar Ott's front end is just destroyed on that 32. That is a tough break for these guys. And Frodemar Otts, he's going to be sitting and waiting now to find out if he made the playoffs or not. We'll have to see if he does in the post-race, but until then, let's see if we go back green. Not the way you want to end a regular season finale here. Not the way I would have wanted to end it, but it's going to end under caution. Mike Irwin is the leader, but he is running on fumes right now. He just stalled the car a few moments ago, trying to get up the hill. We'll see if he can limp it back around, because if he does, he will be a race winner. Another interesting note, Mitchell Collins will finish 38th in this race. As of now, I don't think he's going to be a regular season champion. And now things get interesting. Who comes out with the regular season championship? We're going to have a lot of math to do to find that one out. Here we go. We're going uphill again. Can the 97 make it? Karen James is back there. She could win this race. And that would solidify her, I believe, as the presumed number 1 seed, because she's already won a race this year. Brian James could win this race, get 12 playoff points. Oh boy, someone ran out of gas back there. No, they just got unorganized, it looks like, so scratch that. as we're going to limp it back home. Mike Irwin will not have to pit. And Mike Irwin will come out of the final turn. He'll make his way down the front stretch, and he will win the race here, the double points race, here at VIR. Congratulations to Mike Irwin. That is a huge victory for him, and a playoff securing victory to my knowledge. So punch the 97 and things now get interesting. Who will make the playoffs is going to be the question that we all want the answer to. And we'll have that answer in just a moment here on GCN. Let's take you to your results, and we'll be right back in about 15 seconds. Stay tuned. A surprising twist in this race. Mitchell Collins gets very, very lucky in this race. He has 2 wins. Rodney Crouch only has 1. By the tiebreaker, Mitchell Collins is your regular season champion. So he will get the extra 15 points that comes along with that. Crouch and Zapata will also make the playoffs. Rodney Crouch, Miguel Zapata, Dave James, Dylan Young, Karen James, Mike Irwin, Brad Stover, Annie Thomas, and Frodemar Otts all get in on wins. And oh, wait a second. Look in 26th by 2 points. Audra Baranowskis misses the mark, and she will miss the playoffs due to that. So does Tim Horton and the rest of the winners this season that we have had. So, by the rules, the playoff spots that are not covered by winners go to drivers that do not have wins. So Crystal Soleo and Joshua Saculli will both be in the Carvana wildcard playoffs despite not winning this season. As we look on down the list, and there is your standings. Anyway, and now let's take a look at one other thing. Here is how they will stack up for the playoffs. It'll be Mitchell Collins with 27 points. Miguel Zapata will have 12 from his double points win earlier this season. Mike Irwin has double points from that win. He's got 10. Then obviously Crouch will have 7. We have a bunch of guys with 6. Andy Thomas, Frodemar Otts, Dave James, and Brad Stover. And then Dylan Young and Karen James both have 5 points each. Crystal Soleo led the most laps in a race earlier this season. That gives her a playoff point. Joshua Saculli's going to have some ground to make up. He's got to get some playoff points going, as he will have 0 to start the playoffs. Anyway, we want to thank you for watching this race, and we will see you for race number 16, the first playoff race from Mid-Ohio, the sports car course. Till then, goodbye, everyone.